Have you ever felt the world tilt on its axis? The kind of sickening lurch you get on a roller coaster just before the drop? That was me. Standing in the rain-slicked asphalt of the Ambassador Hotel's parking garage off North State Street in Chicago. The air was thick with the smell of wet concrete and exhaust fumes. My phone screen glowed, showing a single text from my wife, Sarah. Ugh, this inventory audit is going to take all night. Don't wait up, my love. See you in the morning. But there it was, parked under the buzzing fluorescent lights of Level 3, her pearl-white Lexus, gleaming like a tombstone. She wasn't at her downtown office on Wacker Drive. She was here, and a cold, sharp certainty pierced through me, more definite than any proof. I knew with a gut-wrenching finality that my life was a lie. If you genuinely enjoy our stories, please subscribe to the channel. Tell us where you're from and what time it is right now. It's always fascinating to know how far our story flows. For 10 years, Sarah was my world. We built a life in a quiet suburb of Lincoln Park, the kind of life people put on Christmas cards. I was a structural engineer, a man who believed in foundations, in things that were built to last. She was a high-flying marketing executive, ambitious and dazzling. I never once doubted her. Why would I? The strange behavior started subtly, like a hairline crack in a solid beam. Her phone, once left casually on the kitchen counter, was now always screened down or in her pocket. Late nights at the office became more frequent, explained away with a sigh and a complaint about her demanding boss. When I'd try to bring her dinner, she'd text back almost instantly, No, we're catered. Don't trouble yourself. Then came the coldness. The easy intimacy we shared evaporated. She'd flinch if I touched her shoulder unexpectedly. Our conversations became transactional, like two business partners discussing household logistics. Did you pay the electric bill? The landscaper is coming on Friday. The woman I loved was being replaced by a polite, distant stranger. One evening, I found a receipt from a restaurant I knew she hated, a small, ridiculously expensive French place in the Gold Coast. It was for 2 people, dated on a night she was supposedly working late. When I asked her about it, her eyes went flat. Oh, that was a client dinner. God, it was so stuffy. You wouldn't have liked it. The lie was so smooth, so practiced. It was like she'd rehearsed it. She made me feel like I was the one in the wrong for even asking, for questioning her. The villains, her and whoever she was with, felt untouchable, wrapped in a cloak of her arrogance. The breaking point came on our anniversary. I'd booked a table at our favorite spot, the one where I proposed. She canceled an hour before, a clipped text about a sudden deadline. I sat alone in our dining room, the unlit candles and her unopened gift sitting on the table like a monument to my stupidity, and I just broke. The kind of silent, soul-crushing breakdown that happens when you realize you're utterly alone in your own life. The grief was a physical weight, pressing down until I could barely breathe. But as the sun rose, something else rose with it. A cold, hard resolve. The engineer in me took over. The man who believed in foundations was gone, replaced by a man who now understood demolition. I became a ghost. I hired a private investigator, a grizzled ex-cop who communicated in grunts and emails. He confirmed what I already knew. The man's name was Mark, a junior partner at her firm, smug, handsome, and utterly disposable. The PI's report was a clinical, brutal summary of their affair, lunch dates, after-work drinks, and twice-weekly visits to the Ambassador Hotel. I read it, and the pain was so immense, it became a strange, clarifying fire. I didn't want to just leave. I wanted to burn her world to the ground, just like she had burned mine. Started gathering proof, not for a divorce, but for a war. I copied files from her laptop, recorded phone calls where she and Mark laughed about me, about my trusting nature. I documented every lie, every dollar she spent from our joint account on him. The trap was set for her company's annual gala, her biggest night of the year, where Sarah was set to receive a major award. I knew their whole world would be there. 2 days before the event, I filed for divorce, citing adultery and submitting every piece of evidence I had. I also filed a lawsuit against Mark, using an obscure alienation of affection tort, not for the money, but for the professional carnage it would cause at his firm. The final piece was a carefully edited audio file compilation of Sarah and Mark mocking her boss. Her clients and meet sent anonymously to the entire executive board of her company from a burner email address. The night of the gala, I sat in my car across from the venue, watching the city's elite walk the red carpet. I pictured the moment Sarah's boss would have received that email. I imagined the whispers turning into a roar as the news of the lawsuits, delivered to her in Mark's offices that morning, spread through the ballroom. Her award was rescinded. Her career, the thing she valued more than me, more than our marriage, was over. Mark was suspended, his own career in tatters. She called me, her voice a hysterical shriek, a stark contrast to the cool, manipulative tone I'd grown used to. She screamed, she cried, she begged. I said nothing. I just listened to her world crumble, the sound of my revenge. I sold the house. I moved to a small, quiet apartment overlooking Lake Michigan. Sometimes I see her. She works at a small boutique now, her face etched with a bitterness that has stolen her beauty. She looks right through me, a ghost haunting the ruins of a life she torched herself. There's no satisfaction, no triumph, just a vast, quiet emptiness. The foundation is gone, and I've learned that some things, once broken, can never be rebuilt.